and welcome to my latest blog post. So today I'm going to talk about an important subject for traveling and living in Vietnam, and that is expenses, expenses, expenses. On the screen now you can see some examples of the expenses that you will incur while you're in Vietnam. So I've tried to include a lower end lifestyle and a higher end lifestyle. So as you can see, it's possible to live on from as little as $725 a month or 540 British pounds a month. Welcome to one of the busiest crossings in Vietnam. So we looked at the costs associated with a cheaper cost of living in Vietnam, in the cheaper range. However, it's important to look at a more average lifestyle and expenses, and also if you wish to actually live on more, I guess, sort of like the high end. So let's have a look at those then. Okay, so let me just get this camera set up here. So I guess on average, or at least this is what I found living here, and I wouldn't say I've lived a particularly lavish lifestyle. Neither would I say I've lived a sort of overly frugal lifestyle, if you will. I have found that I have spent about $950 to $1,000 a month here, and I've stayed in generally in decent accommodation through Airbnb. I'll try and see if I can get a link in the description down below just for you. And yeah, so I guess to look at the more higher end, this is where you really have quite I'm not going to go as far as to say lavish lifestyle, but yeah, I guess to some extent, yeah, you'll have a really nifty apartment, and you'll go out maybe twice or three times a week on quite big nights out with this budget. Possibly more, really. This is the high end after all. So on the high end you'd have about $1,850 dollars per month, which is about 1,375 pounds a month, British pounds. So you could see it's possible to live pretty much on the cheap here relative to, you know, the many of the major cities in the USA and certainly in the UK. However, it is perhaps not as cheap as some alternative locations in Asia, despite what some other people and vloggers might lead you to believe. So I would think carefully about that. In the end, it's all up to you. So it depends on how you want to live in this environment, and some people manage to live here, work here, you know, whether they teach or whether they live a more like digital nomad style lifestyle. They manage to make a lot of savings and investments during their time here. However, many also don't. So it is important to kind of really recognize, I guess, whether this is the right environment for you, because there are certainly alternatives available. You know, most famously, there is Thailand, there is Philippines for some, and there is you know, other places like, of course, China, particularly if you want to do teaching, even further away, places like Korea and maybe even Japan, which are perhaps on the more expensive end of things relative to Asia in particular. Also, I would say, of course, entertainment costs are a really major factor. So I found that this is where costs kind of vary the most between people. So you could be spending anything from around, like, you know, if you just have like maybe like a couple of beers or something on the weekend, just that one time, then, you know, you could be spending as little as like 50,000 dong. Not sure exactly the conversion, but that's really cheap. That's really nothing. Or you could be spending, you know, upwards of like 2 million dong, which is, it's where you're kind of heading to the territory of really a lot of money. Anyway, don't forget, stay frosty.